Today I'm gonna share with you my short journey to a small but charming provincial city of Kolomna. I visited it to draw on plein air and tell you a story of how the will of two people to create the beauty around has changed the whole town. I packed my bag for a 2-day trip and left early Saturday morning. It was still dark, chilly, and misty outside. I reached Kolomna by train. It arrives right in the historic center, where everything is in walking distance. I came here for a little taste of history, but it wasn't always an option here. Just 15 years back, it was a poor and uninspiring place where people even started to disassemble Kremlin and used those bricks for private construction. Today, it's a thriving place which greets a lot of visitors and cherishes its heritage. And this is how it all has changed. It started with two women in 2008. Local authorities asked them to come up with a site-specific souvenir because the town was awarded to host a large skating event. Natalia and Yelena started their research and found a reference to a sweet treat made of apples called pastilla. Their museum I'm gonna visit first today. Kolomna has been renowned for its gardens and orchards since the 15th century. In spring, all streets were covered in blossom of apples and cherry trees. The harvest has always been so rich that people had to come up with a way to preserve it, and this is how this recipe was born and provided a sweet treat throughout the winter. People say they turned apples into clouds. Today their cafe is an amazing cozy place with a backyard where you can have a cup of tea with a sweet treat, read a book or draw your sketch. In the same garden, Natalia and Yelena opened a museum which presents an intangible heritage, something ephemeral and elusive. Tastes, smells, the culture of everyday living, the manner of talking, and they managed to create the atmosphere that makes you want to stay there for hours. As for my humble opinion, this place is amazing because it was made with love and you can feel it. Time stops here and makes you want to stay longer. Well, what made me leave is a chilly wind. Following an example of these two ladies, other entrepreneurs started opening museums, factories, cafes, and revived culture of this town. My next stop was this amazing bakery. It is located near to the remainings of the Kremlin, and I decided to draw the facade. I made it in a style of the Christmas postcard, so I decided to add a whimsical baker who sells traditional bread buns called kalach. It's made from braided dough and it forms a handle. They offer a warm and cozy museum cafe where they show the process of baking kalach. I couldn't miss it because it was so cold outside, and now I invite you to enjoy the drawing process of a Christmas postcard. After visiting this cozy cafe, I took a walk around the town. There are so many wooden houses with intricately carved window frames called nalichniki, where people still live there and try to preserve it and maintain in good condition. I decided to draw one of these houses on iPad, but in the style of an antique blueprint. A wooden house like this has some specifics. The front facade aligns with fence and adorns street view. That is why it's usually so ornate. Traditionally, all carved elements were a symbol of something. It was a remarkable part of a folk art. Typically, the architrave was decorated with a carved ornament which symbolized sun. On the sides was air, and at the bottom were ground and its inhabitants. Up until now, we can notice same motifs. The plan that I'm going to show you now is not traditional. It was adapted for today's lifestyle, but it takes distinctive features and main planning principles from the past. The entrance is usually located on the side and is called seni. It was built to separate living area from the street. A high threshold was built to separate lobby and the heated area, which prevented winter cold air getting into the house. It was used to store necessary things and food as well. In the traditional house, a stove was the main element. It was used for cooking, heating, even having bath, and sleeping. It was the warmest bed as you can imagine. In front of the kitchen was a dining and living room with the street-facing windows. Bedrooms are located in a more quiet space in the rear of the house or upstairs, and they usually are oriented to the backyard. I find it charming that people still use stoves and try to maintain their houses in good condition. Last stop during this journey would be a silk factory. This space was designed by amazing people whom I used to study with. They used curtains to create a multifunctional space. It's simple, affordable, yet very beautiful decision. And today's silk factory holds exhibitions, different workshops, and co-working. I'd like to conclude with a summary of this journey. I absolutely love this place because people took responsibility for their lives and simply wanted to live in a place which inspires. So they created opportunities by themselves and made this town look very welcoming and inspiring.